I just need to point out that Famidaily has become the definitive video series for your coverage of 8-bit console shogi games. I'm just pleased to have gotten in on the ground floor of what is sure to be the next big YouTube trend. Famicom Meijinsen is SNK's stab at the traditional game, and they put out a pretty respectable little shogi program. Shogi is the Japanese board game that's descended from the same root game as chess. So you have two sides with identical pieces lined up facing each other. Each piece has their own rules for movement. Players take turns each moving one piece, and pieces are captured by moving on top of them. The two things that make shogi distinctive are being able to promote pieces that get to the back third of the board, which turns them over and grants them new moves, and you can place pieces that you've captured back on the board. That's why rather than colors, shogi pieces have direction. The goal of a shogi match is to capture the other side's king. The title Famicom Meijinsen is a little bit interesting. Nintendo's trademark wasn't Famicom, it was Family Computer. Famicom is just what people started referring to it as. 1988 was bringing changes to how Nintendo was marketing the Famicom, and allowing people to refer to the system as the Famicom was part of that. We also saw that a week or so ago with Famicom Wars, and we'll see the other big change in marketing about 2 weeks from now. The other half of the title, Meijinsen, refers to a board game championship, typically Go or Shogi. Obviously, Famicom Meijinsen lets you play Shogi against a computer. And honestly, the AI isn't bad. A little peek behind the curtains here, but I'm not very good at Shogi. So what I do when I've got one of these shogi games is play against the AI at the weakest level, and then use a modern AI engine to play against the Famicom. And in this case, I think the Famicom was winning, even before I screwed up placing my piece back on the board, which is actually a common complaint with this game. The input can stutter at times, and people have noted that results in misdrops. The game auto-saves as you're playing too. There's a complete record of the last game played saved on the cart, and you can advance or roll back that game, and jump in at any point. Famicom Meijinsen also includes some shogi problems. There's 3 levels of difficulty, which are determined by how many moves it would take to solve the problem. However, it seems to be a very small number of problems. It makes it a nice bonus feature, but not really a key selling point. Not compared to the real heart of this game, the tournament mode. There you have to play through an entire series of opponents. There's 3 tiers of opponents, and you can select anyone in the tier that you're currently in. And of course you beat everyone in the tier to move up. I've got one more pro and one more con about Famicom Meijinsen. The pro is that the game locks you into only valid moves and snaps right to them after you select a piece. It's a good piece of interface design that the other Famicom shogi games lacked. The con is that the perspective makes it really difficult to read the pieces. That's not my bad at reading Japanese calligraphy opinion, it's one of the big complaints of Japanese players. I think if you really wanted to play an 8-bit shogi game, Famicom Meijinsen is pretty good. Of the 4 shogi games we've seen so far, I think it's the second best, just behind Morita Shogi. But if you really want to play shogi, there's a lot of better and free options out there for you, like that website I used to play against it.